Welcome to SilverNutsGarage. If you've already subscribed, we greatly appreciate it. If you haven't, please consider and hit that notification bell so you'll know the next time I make fun of my fat bastard buddy Jones. So, I don't know what he's into today. Somebody call him, get on him for me. So I've been trying to do this clutch on the 61 panhead, and I ran into a situation that my drive sprocket, which is a compensating sprocket, has a crack in it. And I was going to go ahead and put this sprocket on, which I took off of the 60 panhead. And long story short, I did some adjusting and tried to put it on and it wouldn't fit, and I was adjusting the transmission, and long story short, 1 and 1 made 2, and I figured out that although I thought that these were the same sprockets, they're not. What came off my bike was a 23 tooth sprocket, and what I took off of the 60 was a 24 tooth sprocket. So, yeah, count your teeth. The moral of the story, count your teeth before you adjust transmissions. But no big deal. So that led me into, funny how something that I was anticipating I would get done, I ran into a jam, I couldn't, and most of the time I get a little frustrated that I didn't get to the end zone that I wanted to in the time frame I wanted to. So as I'm getting older, I'm starting to learn that all of these side travels and things that happen, you need to enjoy what's going down and maybe learn from these different circumstances, and don't sweat the small stuff, and we don't have to get to the end zone when I think I do. So I'm working on that. Trying to become better at that. So as I'm on this sidetrack trip, I thought I would go over gearing. It's pretty cool. So I don't know if the camera is set up good enough, but this is the drive sprocket. This is what's on your motor. And that sprocket turns the clutch hub. And the clutch hub turns, and this is the clutch basket. The actual sprocket is attached to the back of the clutch hub. So you see you've got 2 sprockets, and as the motor drives the clutch basket, as you engage your clutch and all your discs go together, there is another sprocket that's behind this, that's your transmission sprocket. And your transmission sprocket now has a chain that comes out, and let's just pretend this is your rear wheel. And on these newer, older bikes that have drum style brakes, you're kind of stuck with a 51 tooth sprocket. They're riveted on. There's not a lot you can do. I'm sure someone can do something with it, but for the most part, it's a 51 tooth sprocket, and you're not going to change that sprocket. So let's say this is the 51 tooth sprocket, and it's set back here. So to change your gearing, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Obviously, the two easiest ways would be to change the size of your drive pulley, or pulleys, until I'm from the HVAC business calling these pulleys, sprocket, or you can change your transmission sprocket. And if you go with a larger tooth, more teeth, a little bit bigger around, what happens is you get more surface area, which creates less RPM on your rear wheel on your engine. Moves your rear wheel faster, reduces RPM on your engine. So what I found out is both of the 60 and the 61 panheads were shipped from the factory with a drive sprocket, I believe, of a 22 tooth. 22 tooth was from 1941 to 1978 and came out of the factory on FLs and FLHs. Someone has put a 23 tooth on mine and a 24 tooth on my son's. And they did that because we know that my son's bike has made multiple trips out west. And the guy that was running his bikes out west wanted to gear them to where, you know, he wasn't running the shit out of his engine. His RPMs were down, so he increased to a 24 tooth motor sprocket, which is going to lower his RPMs. He also changed, you could get a 22, 23, or 24, depending on the bike you bought, whether it had a sidecar, so on and so forth, on your transmission sprocket. If you increase the size of that, that also does the same thing as increasing the size of the motor pulley. So I don't know what they came with, but his has a 24 tooth sprocket on his transmission, and I have a 23 tooth sprocket on mine. So his is going to run at a little, even though they're the same engine, it's going to run at a lower RPM on my engine and be able to go a little faster. You figure, heck, back, you know, flatheads and knuckleheads, probably the average speed was, you know, 40, 45 miles an hour on the roads back then. And as you get into a panhead, you know, probably more like 50 miles an hour average speeds. And you get into a shovel head, and you know the average speeds were 60. You get into the Evolution engine, average speeds are 70. So they've increased engine size, and they've re-geared these things to the way we ride and drive today. So I am decided that I'm going to keep the 24. I'm going to steal my son's sprocket, and I'm going to keep the 24-inch sprocket on the drive side on the motor, and I am going to move my transmission in closer. I think I can do that. I was struggling a little bit yesterday doing that, and although I'm not a big fan of I mean, I'm a fan of technology, but I really don't want to learn a bunch of new stuff on the phones. I don't do Facebook. I don't do, you know, I do Marketplace on Facebook. It's the only thing I do. I think I have 4 friends, and one of the, you know, most of them are my family, and the one guy is dead. So, God rest his soul. So, not a fan of technology. But here's what's cool about technology is, as I'm learning, fast track learning on, you know, fixing motorcycles and working on motorcycles and stuff like that, some guy comments, and which is cool, right? I love to read the comments because I learned something. He comments that, hey, did you get the 5th bolt that's on the transmission underneath the kicker cover? Did you remember about that? And not only did I not remember, I didn't know. So I found it, and I loosened it up, and oh, the transmission moves like a really nice now. So I'm going to do that, and I think I am about ready to put this thing back together now. But I figured, since I was sidetracked, I'd talk a little bit about gearing and what I've learned about it. So those that are out there that have taken the time to comment and educate me, and it's cool. I appreciate it. So enjoy your evening. Punch that monkey. Pat that poodle bug. Step on that bell. Whatever you're supposed to do, and enjoy your evening. We'll see you.